Caption close Kayseri, Turkey, AP, Imogen Carey felt upbeat as he drove to Istanbul's airport with 3 empty buses and a simple task, pick up about 200 fellow Uighurs who had fled China for asylum in Turkey and escort them to safety. Carey, a Uyghur emigre and community worker, planned to take the newcomers back to the city of Kayseri, where the Turkish government had set aside empty apartments for their resettlement. As he approached the terminal, his heart sank. About 20 burly Uyghurs were already there, greeting the refugees as they trickled out. They were recruiters for Islamic militant groups. "Just come with us," the men said. "It's all arranged, housing, money, everything." Carey could only watch as the new arrivals, men, women and children, wrangled their possessions into vans and headed toward the paradise they had been promised, Syria. As Uyghurs flee a Chinese security crackdown in droves, they often end up caught in a tug-of-war between militant Uyghur members of Syria-based Islamic groups and moderate leaders of the Uyghur diaspora who plead with them to reject calls of jihad. Extensive Associated Press interviews detail the daily battle some Uyghur activists are fighting against the radicalization of their people, members of a Muslim ethnic minority who live in China under heavy surveillance and the constant fear of arrest. In Turkey, religious extremism has peeled away young Uyghur men and entire families from Istanbul's immigrant neighborhoods, from gritty central Anatolian suburbs, sometimes from right outside the airport. The war in Syria has thrust an ethnic minority from the far reaches of China into the center of the global jihadi movement. Several thousand Uyghur men, women and children are estimated to have crossed the border to join the Turkestan Islamic Party, TIP, an ethnic Uyghur militia allied with Al-Qaeda on the front lines of the fighting. "We are losing the de-radicalization battle," said Sayed Tumturk, a Uyghur activist, said in a recent interview in Kayseri. "Why? Because we cannot convince our people that hope and human rights exists in the world." Around the time Carey watched the jihadi recruiters whisk Uyghurs from the airport in 2015, the TIP announced a string of suicide attacks in Syria. That September, Uyghurs bombed a downtown Bangkok shrine filled with tourists. Last year, the head of Al-Qaeda began denouncing China as atheist occupiers and courted Uyghur fighters in recruitment videos. The spread of extremism has alarmed many exiled Uyghur leaders, who condemn violence and say it will lead their people's ruin. But they're confronted by a young generation who see no future under one of the world's most powerful authoritarian governments and feel ignored by the rest of the world. The Uyghurs are wrestling over decades-old questions: do we seek freedom with peace or violence? Is our path forward secular or Islamist? Who will help us face the might of the People's Republic of China? _____ A glimpse of freedom. On the outskirts of Kayseri in central Anatolia, the parched, rock-strewn hills resemble the southern swathes of the Uyghur homeland in western China, but a fenced compound of 5-story concrete towers represents Tumturk's vision of Uyghur freedom and everything China is not. In a classroom next to a basketball court, young Uyghur boys take Quranic lessons that are forbidden for children in China.